How can you obtain a visa in Colombia? Welcome to How to Expat. My name is Sam, and at How to Expat we help expats relocate. In this video I'm going to tell you how you can get a visa here in Colombia, stay long term as an expat, and stick till the end of this video to find out kind of an insider tip how you can get a Colombian visa without having to put too much money down. In this video we're only going to talk about the most common visas for expats that come from North America or Western Europe. There are a lot of other visas out there, either for people from other countries like India or Pakistan. We're not going to talk about them here. And there of course are a lot of other visas we're not going to talk about in this video for North American and Western Europeans, which are just uncommon. So the visas I'm going to talk about here are, will cover around 95% of people. So if you're just a normal person, this is the video for you. So first of all, we're going to talk about how you actually can get into Colombia. So if you're North American or you're European, it's very easy. You just can come here with the plane. You don't need a special visa for that. You just get what a lot of people call the tourist visa, which is actually not a visa, it's just a tourist stamp. So you get in the border and you get a stamp for mostly 90 days, and that's it. You can extend the stay for another 90 days. So in 1 year you can stay 180 days, which is around 6 months in Colombia without having any kind of visa. If you want to find out more about this procedure, we have a video. You can find that up here and in the video description down below. But as I said, today we're going to talk about more long-term visas. So there are 3 or kind of 4 kind of different visas you can get in Colombia. One is the V, visitor visa, then the M, migrant visa, the R, resident visa, and then there is something that's called beneficiary or dependent visa. We will talk about the most common of these visas in this video, of course. And make sure if you see this video that you have a look in the comment section down below and in the description, because if something changes or whatever, we will have an update there. So this is just a side note. So be aware, this is Latin America, Colombia. Things can change without notice. So this, what I'm going to talk about here, is just the actual information I have from this state right now. So things could change without notice, so make sure to always contact a specialist before you actually do the visa procedure. So let's start with the beneficiary visa. The beneficiary visa is for a spouse or a kid. So let's say you have the retirement visa where you have to prove $750 a month of income. The cool thing about the beneficiary thing is if you're a couple, a married couple, you just have to prove the $750 a month. And your spouse doesn't have to prove that either. It's just your spouse. So you have the retirement visa, your spouse has the beneficiary visa, and that's it. In comparison to countries like Panama, where if you're a solo retiree, you have to prove $1,000, and if you're a couple $1,200. That's not the case here in Colombia, so that's very cool. There are some restrictions with the V visa I'm going to talk about later in this video. So if you are the holder of a V visa, not every of those visas is eligible for then having a spouse attached to that visa. If you want to have more information about that, just contact us. We will tell you which visa is you can get a beneficiary with and which you can't. So let's tackle the first type of visa, the V visa, which is the visitor's visa. So this is a very kind of an uncommon visa for long-term expats, let's say. So this is more for like volunteers, kind of a medical visa is one of the types. Another types is like an internship. This is really pretty much it I want to talk about with the V visa. There is a common V visa is only the student visa. So let's switch to the student visa. So the student visa you can either get as a V visa or as an M, like the migrant visa. The V visa for a student is if you have a Spanish school. So most of the people come here, which I would really recommend is the V visa as a student. So if you're not kind of sure if you want to stay in Colombia long term and don't want to just put some money down for be able to do that, go with the student V visa. You can get that easily with a lot of Spanish schools here in Colombia. Then the other type of student visa is the M visa, which is more if you have kind of a bachelor's work you do here in Colombia, you are able to get the M work visa, which is less common than the V student visa. So having said that, let's go to the M visa. So the M migrant visa is the most common visa for expats. You can stay with that visa up to 6 months outside of the country. So what you can do is, let's say 5 months and a couple of days, you can spend 1 day in Colombia and then go out, and you will keep your visa that way. So you technically just have to be in the country of Colombia twice a year. Then the other requirement, or the other thing, is with the M visa, it is valid for 3 years. A little disclaimer here, I've heard from people that did not got the visa for 3 years, they just got it for 1 or 2 years, even though technically it should be 3 years. But yeah, most of the time people get it for 3 years, except if you have a student or work visa, then it's kind of coupled to that student program or to work. So if you don't have work anymore, the visa is no longer valid. So before we talk about how you can actually get one of those M visas, I have to explain kind of how they're calculated. So Colombia does it this way. They have the minimum salary of Colombia, which is in 2019 around 800,000 pesos, which is around $250 per month. And they do it like this. They say the requirement for an example X visa is 3 times the minimum wage. So you just take 3 times $250, which is $750, and this is the requirement you have to have for this visa. If you're confused right now, don't worry, you will get it as soon as I talk about the retirement visa. With this, it's important to know the requirements for visas like this goes up with inflation every year, so it will be adjusted for every new year. And the other thing, of course, with the exchange rate. So yeah, before you actually do the journey of getting a visa, just make sure that you have the actual exchange rate and the actual numbers, which is valid for the time you're applying. So let's put that in practice. Let's start with the retirement visa. So the retirement visa's requirement is to have 3 times the monthly wage minimum salary of Colombia, which is $750. So that means for you have to prove Colombia that you have from Social Security, pension, more than $750 a month. So that's it. The pensions visa is very, very easy to get. You can get it, usually the time takes just around 1 or 2 weeks even. It's very easy to get, it's inexpensive, and yeah, it's really a great option if you're able to do that. So another important thing to know is there are countries in Latin America out there that have an age restriction on the retirement visa. It's not that way in Colombia. So even if you're a pension, like if you're a first responder or if you're a military vet or something like that, and you're 35, 45 or whatever, or have Social Security from any other source, it doesn't matter what age you are. So if you're a military vet, Colombia is the perfect place for you to get a really easy visa to stay in Latin America. Then the other type of visa, which is kind of coupled to this visa too, is the rentista visa. So if you don't have a lifelong pension or Social Security or anything like that, you are able to get a rentista visa if you have 10 times the minimum salary, which equals around $2,500 a month. This counts as if you have income from rental properties abroad, if you have income from, let's say, dividends, from stocks, from financial investments, anything like that will make you eligible for the rentista visa. One thing that doesn't count is a salary or commission from abroad. So if you like affiliate marketing or something like that, this surely doesn't count. And of course, if you work as a freelancer, that doesn't count, unfortunately, either. So this is really just for financial income, yeah, like rental or stocks or something like that. So then let's breeze through the next 2 categories. So one is surely marriage. So if you marry a Colombian citizen, you can get the marriage visa. A little note there, be aware that around 30% of people that have a marriage visa, and know personally people that had to do that, have to go to an interview in Bogota. So they will check if you're really a couple and stuff like that. And it can be hard, so I know people that try to do it, but had to wait another year to apply again for the marriage visa because they didn't pass the interview test in Bogota. Just a side note here. And the other is the work visa. So if you have work in Colombia, of course, you can get very easily a work visa here to be able to work and live in Colombia long term. So let's go to the next category. So if you're not married to a Colombian, if you don't have a pension, if you cannot prove that you have more than $2,500 from investments, and if you have no work in Colombia, these are surely the ways to go. One is the business investors visa. So with the business investors visa, you have to prove that you invested in a Colombian company, can be your own or another one, more than 100 minimum salaries, which equals around 25,000 US dollars. So what people do is they open a company, invest money in this company, so more than 25,000, and they are then eligible for the business investors visa. This visa can be kind of complicated. You have to really do something with the company. We have a video about that. You can check it up here, but the process changed it a little bit. If you're interested in that video, just contact us or contact another specialist that can help you with boots on the ground experience. It's not the easiest visa to get. You have to know some details about that. So another type of investment visa is the real estate investment visa. So if you purchase real estate, an apartment, a house, whatever, in Colombia for more than around 19,000 US dollars, so this is 350 times the monthly minimum wage, you can get an M visa here in Colombia too. If you should invest in a house or an apartment in Colombia is a totally other story. We have a video about that too, and you can find it up here in the description down below as well. So I would not recommend just buying a house to get the visa, but just another option out there for you. Then another visa which is very famous but not really common is the expertise or the independent workers visa. So this is a visa where just the requirements are that you're a specialist in some kind of field and work for a company, and that's it. And a lot of people that are not really able to put kind of buy real estate, to have the $30,000 for the investment, do not have work and all the other stuff I talked about, think this is the visa to go. Unfortunately, it's not. So if you're not kind of a top engineer, a top architect or something like that, it's impossible to get this visa. And even if the process is lengthy and stuff like that, so I just put that in here. You most probably cannot get the expertise visa, even though it sounds very good, but it's just too good to be true. So these were the migrant visas. So these were the most common visas. So around 95% will stay, 95% of new expats will stay with one of those visas I mentioned in the script before, and of course the student visa too. There is another type of visa is the resident visa. And the requirement there is that you only have to be inside of the country 1 day out of 2 years. So it's a little bit better than the M visa. And the other thing that is better with like in comparison to the M visa is that you only have to renew it every 5 years and not every 3 years with like what you have with the M visa. So how can you get the R visa? So most expats from North America and Western Europe just get it in these 3 ways. First, if you married to a Colombian citizen and held the M-type visa, the marriage visa, for 2 years, you can get the R-type visa. If you held any other types of visas, like the work visa, like the independent workers visa, like the retirement or rentista visa, like the work visa or the beneficiary visa, you can stay or you can get the R visas after you hold that consecutively for 5 years. And there is a special type of investors visa. So if you invest in a business or in real estate with 650 times, so the minimum salary, which is around $170,000, you can get directly the R visa without having to have an M visa for a certain period of time. So surely be careful with investing that much money in Colombia. This is surely another topic if you should do that or not. But if you would do that, you are eligible for the R-type visa. So let's quickly touch the subject about citizenship. You can get dual citizenship in Colombia. You can get that if you held the R-type marriage visa for 2 years or any other kind of R visa for 5 years. But be sure if you're a male, there is some military contribution you have to pay there. I'm not quite sure about the details there, but you have to have a look into that. And the other thing is the citizenship test, which you have to do, can be challenging. So from what I've heard, it's not so easy to do that, especially you have to be kind of fluent in Spanish. So what are the costs of getting a visa in Colombia? The cost of living in Colombia is low, and the cost of getting a visa is low too. So in, let's say, Panama, you can pay everything from like $2,000 to $4,000, $5,000 for a visa. Here in Colombia, it's just about $500 US, even if you do it with a lawyer. So the usual rate, a lawyer, or let's say our lawyer that we trust, you can find the details in the description down below too, charges around $130 for the visa service, and the additional cost, the fees to get the visa done for the government and stuff, equals out to be around $500 US for most any kind of visa. The only exception of this type of visa is the business or the investor's visa in general. There, if you have to open a company, that opening costs, of course, a little bit too. So if you just want to have the M investor's visa with the $30,000, it will cost around $800 to $900 US to do that with a lawyer. So the lawyer's fee around there is probably around $300-400 with all the statutes and what he has to do to open the company. So this was surely it about how you can get a visa in general. There is one special trick we talk about in our Medellin E-Guide. If you want to know that, the link to the Medellin E-Guide is also in the description below. You will find that a special trick if you really think you are not able to get another type of visa, so you don't have the 30,000, you don't have the 2,500 per month, you have no social security. There is one kind of trick you can do, which I cannot really talk about here publicly on YouTube, so it's legal, but it's just not for a public YouTube video. That was pretty much it for this video. Hope it helped. Make sure to watch the comments down below. If something changed, we will put that in there. And hope if you have any questions about visa or stuff, just ask us, send us an email, or put it in the comments down below. I know it can be a little bit overwhelming with all the details, but if you have any questions about your specific strategy, let us know there. This was it for this video. If you want to find out more about Expat Life, we have a great ebook that you can get with the link down below, and hope to see you soon in another video.